In the underground arms markets of the 1990s, a rumor began to circulate about a cherry red liquid. Buyers were told it was a strategic miracle, a substance that could bypass the traditional laws of nuclear physics. The timing of the rumor aligned with a period of intense global anxiety. The collapse of the Soviet Union left thousands of nuclear facilities underguarded, and Western intelligence was bracing for a wave of rogue proliferation. Into this atmosphere of secrecy, the Soviet state-run newspaper Pravda published an article detailing a highly classified material called Red Mercury. The reports described a material with impossible capabilities. It was supposedly a superconductive ingredient for building miniaturized nuclear warheads, while simultaneously acting as a radar-absorbing stealth coating and a component in advanced missile guidance. Almost immediately, an international black market materialized. Procurement agents for rogue states and terrorist groups began hunting for the substance, driving the price up to $1 million a pint. Because the claim emerged from the chaos of the falling Soviet system, it was difficult to definitively disprove. The absolute secrecy of the Cold War meant that a single newspaper article was automatically treated as a legitimate geopolitical threat. As the market expanded, the description of Red Mercury shifted to match the buyer. If a client in Eastern Europe needed a nuclear trigger, that is what the smugglers offered. If a group in Africa sought a conventional explosive booster, the description of the material changed to suit them. This is a 3D visualization of the physical impossibilities required by these claims. No single chemical compound can spontaneously shift its state of matter, act as a superconductor, and contain the energy required to trigger a nuclear explosion. In a con artist's hands, the substance's adaptability made it a blank slate, whatever the highest bidder desperately wanted. For over a decade, millions of dollars in transactions and massive intelligence resources were dedicated to tracking a substance that existed only in the imaginations of those selling it. The hoax gained technical weight when it was promoted by Samuel T. Cohen, the inventor of the neutron bomb. Cohen argued that red mercury was a ballotechnic compound, a substance that could trigger thermonuclear fusion without needing a standard fission primary stage. His credentials forced national laboratories to engage with the theory seriously. This chart compares the energy output of chemical reactions against the requirements for nuclear ignition. Even the most energetic non-nuclear chemical reactions release roughly 15 megajoules per kilogram. Igniting deuterium-tritium fusion requires temperatures of approximately 100 million degrees Celsius. The magnitude of difference between these two bars is an absolute constraint of thermodynamics. No chemical reaction, however exotic, can generate the environment required for a fusion cascade. While physicists analyzed the theory, police raids were seizing the actual product. Laboratory tests consistently revealed mundane materials, like these drops of ordinary elemental mercury. Across dozens of international stings, chemists found common mercury oxide, commercial battery pigments, or plain liquid mercury tinted with red food dye. Science and law enforcement had effectively killed the theory in the laboratory. Yet, the criminal underground largely ignored the data, proving that evidence alone cannot stop a profitable myth. The physical non-existence of red mercury did not make the trade harmless. In May of 1994, a German police raid discovered that the pursuit of a fake material had created a very real public safety threat. Laboratory analysis showed a sample containing 10% genuine plutonium by weight. The rest was a mixture of mercury, glass fragments, and brush bristles. The sellers had deliberately added radioactive material to the mixture just to make a buyer's Geiger counter click during a demonstration. The sophistication of these tactics has led many analysts to believe red mercury began as a honeypot operation by Soviet intelligence. By circulating a legend about a secret nuclear material, the KGB or GRU could identify and arrest rogue agents who attempted to purchase it. A separate investigation by the Russian government suggested the myth also served as a cover for organized crime. While border security was occupied trying to identify supposed red mercury, syndicates could use the confusion to smuggle real strategic materials like gold and uranium. The pursuit of a ghost weapon created genuine radiological hazards and provided the perfect smokescreen for global crime networks to move real contraband. Despite laboratory failures and police stings, the market for the material persisted for decades. The hoax survived because it exploited the structural reality of the nuclear world: absolute secrecy. sellers relied on theatrical demonstrations to confirm the myth. They irradiated containers before sales and staged elaborate color-changing experiments. To a desperate buyer, these effects were taken as absolute proof that the material was authentic. Eventually, the U.S. Department of Energy and the International Atomic Energy Agency issued formal public statements explicitly declaring that Red Mercury did not exist. In the world of nuclear weapons, official denials are viewed as evidence of a cover-up. Buyers assumed any government statement was a classified mask designed to keep the technology secret. The act of investigating or denying the claim validated its importance to the criminal underground. Official warnings convinced believers the secret was real. This created a permanent loop. The harder authoritative sources tried to prove it was a fiction, the more valuable it became to those who refused to trust the authorities. By the 2000s, the myth underwent a final mutation. In West Africa, Red Mercury appeared as a mystical substance entirely disconnected from nuclear physics, sold as a tool to find buried treasure or reveal hidden gold deposits. This leap across cultures demonstrated the legend was sustained by universal human greed, rather than scientific theory. Once the nuclear narrative was exhausted, the myth adapted to a new market of desperate believers. Today, Red Mercury is a standard case study in nuclear security courses. Analysts cite it as a precursor to modern digital disinformation, providing a model for how adaptable false claims travel through illicit networks and survive repeated debunking. Science can disprove a chemical compound, but it cannot easily dismantle a story built on fear and desire. As long as there is an impenetrable wall of official secrecy, those who want to believe will always be willing to pay for a ghost.